Incredible twist, black woman's hidden CIA past exposed after 12 years of framing by white cops. Jamila Henderson felt the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. A fierce mother, she stood tall in the heart of Atlanta, her spirit unyielding, even after the painful loss of her husband. She walked home through the bustling streets, her heart beating to the rhythm of her children's dreams she fought hard to keep alive. Each double shift at the diner was a testament to her love. She poured coffee and laughter into strangers' cups while saving every penny for her children's future. But tonight was different. As she left the diner, feeling the promise of home in her heart, fate took a cruel twist. Jamila, a beacon of resilience, was wrongfully arrested by two white officers whose faces were shadowed with bias and grievance. Accused of a robbery that ended in despair, her cries of innocence echoed like distant thunder. The community that once rallied behind her now questioned her. How could this happen to the woman who uplifted them all? In those cold, dark cells, the air was heavy with despair. Jamila's chest tightened, but she refused to let fear engulf her. Memories of her husband's laughter and her children's faces drove her forward. She was their anchor, their warrior. Thoughts of losing them ripped at her heart. She must fight, not just for her freedom but for justice that had eluded her and so many others. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Then, a local journalist uncovered a jaw-dropping secret. Jamila had been a covert CIA operative in her 20s. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community. She traded that life of shadows for a life filled with laughter and love, but now it tangled her in a web of deception. The townsfolk respected her for her story, but many questioned if her past would be viewed as a betrayal or a testament of strength. As protests erupted outside the courthouse, Jamila saw her children smiling through the tears, and the fire within her ignited. She transformed from a victim into a symbol of hope, embodying the very spirit of her neighborhood. The chants for justice resonated through the air, swirling around her like a warm embrace. But the battle was far from over. As the trial approached, whispers of her past floated like shadows, threatening to devour her. Would the revelations about her identity empower her or shackle her with judgment? The court doors creaked ominously as she prepared to step into unknown territory, her heart racing. Jamila Henderson stood at the crossroads of her life. Would she become the hero her children believed her to be or succumb under the weight of a world that all too often stacked the odds against her? The community watched, and with each moment, the demand for justice grew louder, leaving her to wonder whether she'd reclaim her freedom or see her dreams disintegrate. The heartbeat of a city echoed in her chest, awaiting the next chapter of her extraordinary journey. Jamila paced the small cell, the concrete walls seeming to close in on her. Every echo reminded her of the world outside, of the rallies and hopes pinned upon her shoulders. She could hear the distant chants of her supporters' voices fueled by love and anger. Jamila's innocent. They called, but doubt lingered in the air, thick and suffocating. Could she truly count on that support when faced with the weight of her past? As she sat on the cold metal bench, the fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting a harsh glare over her features. Memories flooded her mind, her husband's laugh, the way her children clung to her, full of life and promise. How had it come to this? The shadow of who she once was emerging to haunt her. The trial loomed large. Her attorney had outlined the strategy: play her past down as a choice made for survival, not betrayal. But could she bear to wear the scars of her past in front of the very people she sought to protect? As doubt crept into her heart, another thought gnawed at her: what if the truth was the only weapon she had left? Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere was electric. Jamila's community stood united, arms linked, faces painted with resolve. Posters with her picture and slogans demanding justice mingled with cries for change. The air was alive with hope, the spirit of unity palpable. It was a sight that made Jamila's heart ache, a reminder of what she stood to lose. Fear and pride mingled together like fire and rain, creating a tempest within her. Suddenly, a familiar face broke through the crowd, her sister, Imani. With fierce determination in her eyes, Imani rushed toward the crowd, her voice rising above the noise. "What they want is to tear us apart. Together, we are stronger." Her words ignited the crowd, amplifying the energy swirling around the courthouse. Jamila felt a warmth spread through her. There was love and power in that unity. But would that be enough to shield her from the judgment waiting behind closed doors? Back in her cell, anticipation surged. Every tick of the clock reminded her that time was slipping away. She could almost hear the gavel striking down, declaring her fate. But then, an unusual visitor entered her cell, Detective Matthews, one of the officers who had arrested her. Surprise rippled through her. Why was he here? "I need to talk," he said, his tone devoid of the condescension she expected. Confusion danced in her heart as she searched for his intent. Would this be another attempt to break her spirit? Or was it something more? "I know what's coming," he continued, shifting his weight nervously, "and I want you to understand that there's more to this story than people realize." "What do you mean?" Jamila pressed, her pulse racing. The walls felt impossibly close now, as if the air had thickened with the tension of so many possibilities. Was this the chance she needed? Could a crooked path twist back toward the light? As Matthews hesitated, Jamila's heart thudded in her chest. She had faced too many shadows in her life. Would she be brave enough to step into the light this time? The moment hung between them, heavy with expectation. Jamila's breath caught as she realized this exchange could turn the tide. How far down the rabbit hole did Matthews go? What secrets was he about to reveal that could shatter or reinforce her fight for justice? The tension in the air crackled, leaving Jamila at the edge of a cliff, ready for whatever revelation might come next. Would this be the catalyst for her transformation, or would it deepen the darkness surrounding her? How deep was the conspiracy that had ensnared her? The very foundations of her hope dangled precariously in the balance, ready to pivot in ways she never expected. Detective Matthews shifted uneasily, his hands fidgeting at his sides. Jamila felt her heart pounding, each beat a reminder that every second mattered. She leaned forward, desperate for clarity. "What do you know?" He took a deep breath, his eyes darting away for just a moment as though the truth weighed heavily on him. "It's about your case, Jamila. There are things I shouldn't be telling you," but he stopped, wrestling with his thoughts as if they were physical chains holding him back. "Just say it," she urged, impatience bubbling to the surface. "Why are you here?" Matthews glanced at the door, ensuring they were still alone, then stepped closer, lowering his voice to a whisper that vibrated with urgency. "There are files, evidence that was concealed. Evidence that could clear your name." Jamila's breath caught in her throat. Could it be true? A flicker of hope ignited within the darkness that had been her constant companion. What evidence? Why would they hide it? He grimaced, leaning closer still. "You were never supposed to be the target. You were just a pawn in something much bigger." He hesitated again, like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. "They used you because they thought you wouldn't fight back." Who? Who did this?" Jamila pressed, her heart racing faster than she thought possible. "They wanted to keep the protests under control. You were a loud voice, a risk. So they twisted the narrative," he replied, his voice trembling as if every word was a step deeper into treacherous waters. "But there's more, your past, what you did, what I did." She interrupted, her cheeks flushing with a mix of anger and confusion. "What are you implying?" "There's a connection to an operation. Your time in that world, it all ties back." You can't just be a victim in this. You have a role, a bigger story that could protect you, he said, his eyes fierce with conviction. The air in the small cell felt electric, ideas exploding in Jamila's mind. Memories she had buried resurfaced, a life lived in shadows, choices she had made in desperation. You think I can fight back? I've been painted as a monster. Matthews met her gaze, firm and unwavering. No one knows the truth, the real you, because it has never been told. You have a choice. You can let this destroy you, or you can become the force they feared. For a heartbeat, Jamila felt the walls around her cell crumble. This was a chance she never anticipated. Could she turn her pain into purpose? Could she expose the very people who twisted her narrative? What do I need to do? How do I start? She saw a spark in Matthew's eyes, like he had glimpsed a light within her. Start by gathering those who believe in you. You'll need allies, people who will stand with you when the truth comes out. It's not just about you anymore, it's about every single person who has been wronged. Nervous energy surged through her, igniting an unyielding determination. I will do whatever it takes. They won't silence me. As Matthews nodded solemnly, she sensed a growing storm of transformation brewing, ready to break through the silence that had caged her. But even as she felt emboldened, a shadow loomed. What would it cost her to dig deeper? With that thought, a chilling fear curled in her stomach. What if unleashing the truth meant confronting someone she cared for? Would turning over every stone put her family at risk? The stakes had never been higher, and Jamila stood at the precipice of her destiny, unsure if she would emerge whole or shattered on the other side. She focused on Matthews, ready for a plan to unfold, but she couldn't shake the question hanging heavy in the air: what if the very people she trusted were part of the conspiracy? Would she find clarity through the maze, or was she stepping into a deeper darkness? The path ahead promised to be perilous, but one thing was certain: she would not face it alone. Jamila felt a rush of fear and determination coursing through her. The weight of Matthew's words echoed in her mind. She had always thought of herself as simply a victim, but now she sensed that she was capable of something more. The people out there, the ones who had wronged her, would soon discover she wasn't going down without a fight. We need a plan, she said, her voice steady. Matthews nodded, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a small notebook. He flipped it open, revealing a series of names and phone numbers. These are contacts from the protests. People who have been vocal and have their own reasons to want the truth. Can they be trusted? She asked, a hint of doubt creeping into her mind. He looked straight into her eyes. I believe they can. They've fought too hard to stay silent, just like you. But you'll need to lead the charge. A rush of warmth spread through her. She had spent so long feeling powerless, like she was being tossed around by forces beyond her comprehension. Now, she had the chance to take the reins of her own life and destiny. What do I say? Jamila implored, urgency dripping from her words. Be honest. Share your journey. Show them the real you, not the monster they've portrayed you as. They will rally behind a leader, but you have to be willing to stand in the light. It was a daunting task. Jamila could already picture the way their expressions might shift from skepticism to understanding. The haunting echoes of her past, of choices she had made, driven by desperation, threatened to drown her resolve. What if they see my past? What if they judge me? Your past doesn't define you, Matthews asserted, his voice sharp but gentle. It's part of your story, but it's not the whole chapter. You've changed. Focus on that. Jamila exhaled slowly, her heart still racing. Could she truly be that powerful? Every moment she hesitated felt like a moment wasted, stolen from a chance at freedom. She needed to act. Okay, she replied, her voice growing firmer. Let us call them. Let us meet tonight. Matthews jotted down the numbers, handing the notebook to her, their fingers brushing for the briefest of moments. A flicker of connection ignited within her, but she quickly chased the thought away. She did not have time for anything that would derail her focus. As Matthews began to relay information about the contacts, Jamila's mind raced. She pictured their faces, now obscured by shadows, faces that could become allies. Her breath quickened as she imagined standing beside them, all of them united against a common enemy. "Jamila," Matthews said, drawing her back from her daydream. "There's something else you should know." The tension hung in the air like a storm brewing on the horizon. She braced herself, a knot forming in her stomach. "Some of these individuals they've had run-ins with the law too," he continued, an edge of uncertainty in his tone. An uncomfortable silence stretched between them. Would they be able to trust these people if they had their own dark secrets? "What does that mean for us?" she asked, her heart pounding. "It means you'll have to tread carefully. You're already painted as a criminal. If you bring in people with questionable pasts, it might complicate the narrative. But if anyone can handle this, it's you." In that moment, Jamila recognized that she was standing at the edge of a chasm, the winds of uncertainty swirling around her. But deep down, she felt a flicker of something fierce, a desire to push through the chaos. "Let us do it," she said, her voice resolute. With night falling outside her cell window, Jamila steeled herself for the battle ahead. She needed to do more than fight back, she wanted to reclaim her story. As Matthews moved to leave, he paused at the door, looking back at her. "Remember, they might come after you, try to silence you. Stay alert." Jamila nodded, their eyes locking in an unspoken promise. Even as she fortified her spirit, her mind turned to the shadows of her heart. What would she find as she unearthed the secrets of her past? Was she ready for the truth, no matter how painful it might be? With adrenaline coursing through her veins, she turned to face her own reflection in the small, cracked mirror on the wall. A woman once beaten down, now stood tall, ready to uncover the storm hidden beneath the surface. But that storm was far from benign. What she might unleash could shatter her world. Every second counted, but would the truth set her free, or would it destroy everything she held dear? Under the dim light of her cell, Jamila couldn't shake the weight of Matthew's last words. The world outside her walls felt both close and achingly distant, a reminder of everything she had lost and everything she still hoped to fight for. She glanced around, taking in her surroundings, the peeling paint, the bars that trapped her, and felt a surge of anger bubble within. She had spent enough time being afraid. It was time to draw strength from that fear instead. Standing up, she opened the notebook Matthews had given her. The names listed felt like lifelines, beckoning her to reach out and break free. If she could just find the courage to connect, to trust, she could change the narrative. Maybe she could even change lives, others like hers, others beaten down by a system that thrived on silence. Jamila pressed her palms to the cool metal of the notebook, taking a deep breath. She had to talk to them, to make them see her for who she was now, not just as a face in the crowd but as a warrior willing to stand for justice. Show them the real you, she reminded herself, clenching her fists. The thought of how they might perceive her scared her, but she couldn't let that stop her. Just a few phone calls could spark a revolution of voices, a chorus of not just her story, but those who shared the same pain. With newfound resolve, she picked up the small, plastic phone attached to the wall. The numbers felt like a promise of hope. Her first call was to a woman named Marissa, known for organizing community outreach. As the phone rang, Jamila's heart raced. Would Marissa see in her the fight she felt? "Hello?" Marissa's voice came through, warm yet firm. "Marissa, it's Jamila. I need to talk," she began, her voice quaking with barely suppressed emotion. As she spoke, detailing her struggles, she felt the barriers begin to fall. Marissa listened, no judgment in her tone, just empathy and understanding. "We'll stand with you, Jamila. You're not alone in this. We'll organize a meeting. People want to hear your truth, Marissa said, igniting a spark in Jamila's heart. After a few more calls, she felt emboldened by support. Each voice on the other end brought her closer to assembling a united front. Their shared commitment to unveil the truth reassured her that she could indeed lead. In moments of doubt, she reached for the notebook again, reminded of who she was fighting for. The following hours melted away as she mobilized her network, forging connections in the dark. The rush of adrenaline was intoxicating. Yet, in the back of her mind lingered the warning, the truth about those who had run-ins with the law. Trust would be delicate. Like glass, it could shatter if mishandled. As the night of the gathering approached, Jamila found herself pacing the small space of her cell. The energy shifted, now there was a lightness in the air, a blend of anticipation and fear. Questions began to flood her thoughts. What if they sought to silence her? What if her past came back to haunt her, the reputation that followed her for far too long? Focus on the present, she whispered to herself. The true battle was yet to come, one that required her to confront not only her fears but the truth behind her past. Just when she felt a glimmer of hope, the heavy footsteps of a guard echoed down the corridor, halting her thoughts. As the door clanked open, Jamila straightened, determined not to show weakness. "Jamila, you have a visitor," the guard said curtly. A visitor? Her heart thudded in her chest. Was it someone from her new circle? Or would it be someone from her past who threatened her hard-fought progress? As the figure stepped through the door, her breath caught in her throat. It was someone she hadn't expected, someone who could change everything. But would they be an ally or another foe in her fight for truth? "What are you doing here?" she asked, nerves prickling her skin. And as their eyes met, Jamila felt the stakes rise to a level she had yet to prepare for. Would this meeting tip the scales in her fight, or were the dangers lurking closer than she realized? The visitor stepped into the small, dank room and Jamila's pulse quickened. The familiar face, though weathered by time, held memories she thought were buried beneath layers of pain and regret. It was Keisha, her childhood best friend. Their eyes locked, and the emotions swelled between them, an unspoken history of laughter, shared secrets, and finally, betrayal. "Jamila," Keisha said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I had to come. What are you doing here?" Jamila felt a mix of relief and confusion. Memories of their shared dreams clashed with the reality of her current prison cell. "I thought you were gone. For good?" "No." Keisha shook her head, a hint of defiance in her otherwise gentle demeanor. "I didn't want to leave you like that. Not after everything we went through." Jamila's heart ached. The stories of their high school years came flooding back, their pact to support each other no matter what, to rise above the struggles they faced. But life had taken them down twisted paths. Keisha had vanished after that fateful night when they were arrested together. Jamila had been left to bear the brunt of the consequences alone. "I thought you turned your back on me," Jamila said, hurt lacing each word. "You didn't even try to, I don't know, call?" The solemn look on Keisha's face told a different story. "I was scared, Jamila. I was pulled into something dark. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" Jamila's voice rose in disbelief. "By disappearing?" Keisha shifted on her feet, her eyes darting around the small cell, as if worried the walls might be listening. "Listen, I had to join forces that I didn't fully understand at first. The FBI came to me, wanting information about our community. I did everything I could to try to make things better, but it backfired. They twisted my intentions." The pain in Jamila's chest tightened. "You were working with the FBI? After everything?" "Yes," Keisha admitted, her voice breaking. "But I realized too late what they really wanted. They weren't interested in helping. They just wanted to use us to silence the voices of those who fought against the system." A wave of emotions hit Jamila hard. Her friend was not simply a ghost of her past but a figure entangled in the very web she wished to dismantle. Hope flickered within her. Could this connection lead to something more than just old wounds? "Why are you here now?" Jamila asked, her urgency growing. "What do you want?" "I'm here to help you, Jamila. I have information, things I can share that could change everything for you. Your voice needs to be heard, but you can't do it alone. I want to stand with you this time." "Why should I trust you?" The question slipped out before she could stop herself. "Because we're the same. We want justice. I risked everything to come here, and if you think I'm just going to leave you again, you're wrong. There are people who can help us, who believe in your cause. But we need to tread carefully." Jamila felt a flicker of hope emerge from embers of distrust. The fight felt closer now, but it was mingled with uncertainty. It wouldn't be easy. "What do you mean, tread carefully?" "Those in the shadows are watching closely. They won't take kindly to what we're about to unleash. Your meeting, it's bigger than you think." Suddenly, the weight of the burden ahead settled heavily on Jamila's shoulders. Could this be the alliance she needed, the lifeline to turn her fight into something greater? As she looked into Keisha's eyes, she searched for any sign of deception but found only shared determination. "Tell me everything," she said, her resolve building anew. As Keisha began to speak, Jamila felt that the path to her freedom and perhaps even redemption was finally within reach. But danger loomed closer. Would they both escape the shadows that threatened to engulf them? In the background, the muffled sounds of the prison seemed to fade, replaced by the thunderous beat of possibility. What awaited them beyond these walls? Jamila leaned forward, her heart pounding. Keisha took a deep breath, steadying herself before diving into the account of what had led her back to this moment. "After you were arrested, I didn't know how to reach out to you. I was terrified. The agency that contacted me, they were relentless. They had dirt on me, and I quickly learned the art of survival meant silence," she said, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Every day since then, I've been haunted by the choices I made, choices that betrayed our friendship and our dreams." The mention of betrayal, however distant in time, cut deep. Jamila swallowed hard, forcing herself to focus on Keisha's words, desperate for understanding. "Once I signed that agreement, I thought it would lead to a better outcome for our community. They promised protection, resources, everything we needed to fight back. But that was all a lie." Keisha's voice echoed in the small room, filled with conviction now. "They exploited our trust. They didn't want to uplift our voices, they wanted to silence them or worse, use them against us." Jamila's mind raced. "What do you mean they used our voices against us? Our fight? The information I provided, it was twisted. They painted our survival as radicalism. I gave them the names of activists, people who were trying to bring about change, and they turned them into targets," Keisha finished, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I can't take it back. But I can help stop them now. I know their strategies, the weaknesses in their operation. It's my chance to redeem myself, to make it right." Jamila was torn. Could she trust Keisha? After everything? But in that moment, she realized it wasn't just about them anymore. This was about the countless lives affected. Families torn apart. Voices silenced. "What do we need to do?" Jamila asked, her voice firm. Keisha wiped her eyes, determination replacing the sadness. "We need to gather evidence. Rally the people who still believe in change and aren't afraid to speak out. I know how to get in contact with them. This time, we'll be careful. No more mistakes." Jamila's mind flashed back to the meetings she had envisioned in her dreams, the rallies that could shake the very foundations of their community. The echo of voices lifted in unison, strong and unwavering. Hope filled her heart like sunlight breaking through the clouds. "Okay, I'm in. What's our first step?" she asked, feeling a new resolve wash over her. Keisha leaned in closer, whispering tactics as if the walls could hear their plans. As she spoke of outreach and strategy, Jamila felt a kinship rekindle, just like old times. But in between the moments of excitement, a thought nagged at the back of Jamila's mind. What if the walls weren't the only ones listening? What if someone was already onto them? The tension in the air shifted, thickening with unspoken threats. Their plan was bold, but so was the danger brewing outside. Jamila couldn't shake the feeling that they were running out of time. Suddenly, the door echoed open, and the sound of heavy boots echoed down the hall. Jamila's heart dropped. Instinctively, she reached for Keisha's hands. "Stay calm," she whispered just as a guard stepped inside. No matter what happened next, they were in this together now. "Hey, you two!" The guard barked, surveying the tension between them. "You got a visitor." Jamila exchanged a concerned glance with Keisha. Who could it be? Was this a threat or an unexpected ally? As the guard led them deeper into the unknown, Jamila felt the hairs on her arms rise. This meeting could change everything, but what lay ahead was uncertain. Would they find strength in allies, or would they plunge deeper into a trap cleverly disguised as a lifeline? The answer lingered just beyond their reach, hiding in shadows, as they ventured towards an unwritten future. They followed the guard down a narrow hallway, the fluorescent lights flickering overhead as if unsure of their authority. Each step felt heavier than the last, pounding against the hard floor like a drum signaling the march toward uncertainty. Jamila's heart raced. She squeezed Keisha's hand tighter, a silent promise that they would face whatever came next as a team. The guard stopped in front of a door, glancing back at them with an expression that was anything but reassuring. "Stay put. I'll let him know you're here," he said, and disappeared inside, leaving the two women feeling isolated in a world of doubt. "What if it's someone who knows?" Keisha whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "What if they're here to make sure we don't escape this place?" Jamila met her gaze, searching for words that might ignite calmness in the storm brewing between them. "We'll figure it out. We've come too far to let fear control us now," she said, trying to inject confidence into her voice. The door swung open again, but it wasn't the guard who came out. Instead, an unfamiliar face emerged, a sharp suit framing an imposing figure. The man stepped into the light, his eyes scanning both women carefully, revealing nothing. He paused, eyes narrowing with what felt like calculating interest. "Jamila." "Keisha," he finally said, his voice smooth yet grave. "I appreciate you both agreeing to talk, and it's imperative we have this discussion now." He gestured for them to enter the small room behind him. Jamila felt a chill. Something about the way he spoke suggested he wasn't just a visitor but someone who could tip the balance in their lives for better or worse. Once inside, the door closed with a finality that echoed in the air. The room was sparse, a small table adorned with a single flickering light. The atmosphere felt dense, full of potential and peril. "Let us not waste time," the man said, leaning forward, his hands clasped together. "I know about the agency. I know what they've done to your community and how they've used you. But I'm here to offer a deal." He paused, gauging their reactions. "A chance to expose them." Jamila and Keisha exchanged glances, skepticism overtaking the flicker of hope. "What do you want from us?" Keisha asked, her voice firm despite the quiver beneath it. The man leaned back slightly, as if savoring the tension. "For you to become our eyes and ears. I have resources, but I need your knowledge of the streets, your connections. Together, we could take down this corrupt system." Jamila's stomach twisted. It sounded too good to be true, and the last thing she wanted was to trade one set of chains for another. "And what's in it for you?" She pressed, focusing on the man's expression for any signs of deceit. "Justice," he replied simply, the word hanging heavy in the air. "For you, for your community. They've tarnished lives, manipulated hope. I've spent years trying to infiltrate their operation, and it's time to strike back. The glimmer of possibility flared in Jamila's chest, igniting her passion. Yet lingering doubts wrapped around her thoughts, a reminder of what Keisha had disclosed: those who exploit the vulnerable rarely offered altruism without a price. Can we trust you? Jamila asked, uncertainty rolling off her tongue like gravel. The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. That's for you to decide. What I can promise is that standing back and doing nothing will only solidify the chains they've placed on your people. The clock is ticking, and you're running out of time to make your decision. Jamila's breath quickened. The weight of the moment crashed over her. What should they do? Could they afford to gamble with everything they were trying to protect? Before she could speak, the man continued, you must decide quickly. Will you stand up and fight, or allow your community to suffer silently? Jamila's heart thumped beneath the weight of his words. The battle lines were drawn, and they stood at a crossroad. A warmth began to spread within her, a fierce desire to reclaim their lost strength, but the lingering threat of betrayal still loomed close. The decision was not just theoretical anymore, it was real, and it would change everything. With a deep breath, she gathered herself. We need to think this through. But just as she began to formulate a response, the lights flickered one last time, then went out, plunging them into darkness. Now what? Keisha's voice trembled as tension spiked, revealing the stakes were higher than ever. The darkness wrapped around them, thick and suffocating. Jamila's heart pounded in her chest, a frantic rhythm that matched the unease bubbling beneath her skin. She felt Keisha's hand tighten around hers, a lifeline amid the swirling uncertainty. Stay close, Jamila whispered, her voice barely carrying through the shadowy room. A small flicker of light from the window barely illuminated the outline of the man, making his figure appear even more ominous. What is going on? Keisha asked, her voice laced with fear. Is it a blackout? Maybe. Jamila replied, but doubt gnawed at her. The fear whispering inside her mind suggested something far more sinister was at play. Suddenly, a metallic clang echoed from the hallway, sending a jolt through both women. Jamila held her breath, her instincts flaring. The man didn't respond, but the tension was palpable, thick enough to slice through. Is this part of the deal? Jamila asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Is this how you protect your so-called allies? Enough. His voice cut sharply through the darkness. This isn't a game, and I'm not your enemy. There are forces at work that want to silence all of us. As the stillness fell back over the room, Jamila paused, trying to piece together the unsettling fragments spinning in her mind. She thought about the fight for survival they had endured for so long, how the stakes had climbed higher with every step toward the truth. Then she recalled something she'd overheard long ago, a cryptic conversation about a hidden network working against the agency. Suddenly, the man in front of them seemed less like an unfamiliar adversary and more like a player in a much larger game. If you want us in, what guarantees do we have? What has to stop you from turning us in? He took a cautious step closer. In that moment, the dim light caught a glimpse of his face, revealing a flash of something. Was it desperation? You don't understand. They will come for you too if they realize you know anything. The agency is watching, waiting. This is your chance to strike first. Jamila could feel her pulse racing, not just from fear, but from something electric sparking within her. And what has to stop you from tossing us aside once you've gotten what you want? Keisha squeezed her hand tighter. They were standing at a precipice, and though the abyss below looked daunting, they could not shy away from confronting the truth, whatever it held. I need to know if we can trust you, Jamila pressed, her determination solidifying. You have to show us you're serious. The man paused, the silence stretching uncomfortably before he spoke again in a lower tone. What if I told you I could help you uncover secrets buried deep, the very ones that put you in danger all those years ago? Jamila's breath caught. Could it be? What are you saying? Footsteps echoed from the hallway, rapid and purposeful. Keisha gasped, pulling Jamila closer. The sound was sharp and unexpected. Was it friend or foe? "Your time is running out," the man said urgently, his voice now a whispered rush. "They're coming. You have to decide now smartly, because the moment the lights come back on, nothing will be the same." Jamila felt her stomach drop, the weight of the world crashing down on her. She had fought for far too long to back down now. Fear mingled with hope as she weighed the risks. "Keisha, we need to be ready for anything. What if this is our one chance to break free?" But even as Jamila spoke, the dawning realization flashed through her mind: would this man really protect them? Or was this just a deeper trap laid for them to fall into? The door slammed open, flooding the room with harsh light. Shadows burst forth, revealing figures she didn't know. "Get on the ground!" a voice boomed. In that terrifying instant, as chaos erupted around them, Jamila and Keisha locked eyes. Their hearts raced, but each knew they needed to act fast, together. Would they fight back, or would they stay silent, hoping for survival? As the reality of their fates loomed closer, Jamila felt a wave of clarity wash over her. They would decide their story, and with that came a desire to uncover the truth behind the secrets that had ensnared them for too long. But first, they had to survive this moment and the next one waiting beyond the door. Would they be brave enough to defy the odds stacked against them? The chaos exploded around them like fireworks in the night sky. Jamila's heart raced as she and Keisha dove to the floor, adrenaline surging through their veins. Officers shouted commands, their voices laced with urgency and authority, echoing off the stark walls. "Get down!" one of them yelled again, but Jamila's instincts kicked in. This was not the end, it was the moment she had been waiting for. With a fierce determination pulsing in her chest, Jamila rolled to the side, seeking cover behind the flimsy table. Keisha stayed close, breathing heavily, panic swirling in her eyes. "Stay calm," Jamila whispered, the words a fragile anchor amid the storm. The fear that gripped her was matched only by her resolve to not let this misjustice win. Just as she peered around the table, a light flickered on, illuminating a barrage of officers who stormed into the room, weapons raised and ready. Jamila's mind raced. Was this the end of her fight, or the beginning of something even bigger? "Hands in the air!" one officer commanded, his voice slicing through the tension. But Jamila's eyes locked onto the figure she had never expected to see again, the familiar face of Detective Matthews. His presence felt out of place, but the spark of hope it ignited was undeniable. "What are you doing here?" she shouted, desperation lacing her tone. "I'm trying to help," Matthews yelled back, his eyes darting between the officers and Jamila. It was clear he was treading a thin line, caught between two worlds, the one he once protected and the one that now stood before him, demanding justice. "Help? By getting us arrested?" Keisha spat, rising slightly, her anger tangible. "Do you even understand what you're doing?" "Trust me," Matthews urged, taking a step forward even as officers scrutinized him with suspicion. "I know more than you think. They're coming for you both, and this operation? It's corrupt to its core." The urgency of the moment pressed on Jamila. "Then help us take them down." The realization locked firmly in her mind. This was not just about her anymore, it was about all those silenced by a system that profited from suffering. In a split second, Matthew's eyes shone with fervor. "If you fight back now, we have a chance. They're not ready for a united front. And I can lead you to the evidence you need to expose them." With the cops circling near, Jamila inhaled deeply, steeling her spirit. "Let us do it. We can't go back now." Just then, the lead officer took a step toward them, glancing back at the chaos unraveling outside the door. "Enough talk. Which one of you is in charge?" Jamila, heart pounding, raised her voice. "We are. This isn't just business as usual. This is about lives." Her fiery declaration caught the attention of the officers, a shift in the weight of the room. "A diversion is imminent," Matthews whispered, eyes darting to the hallway. "Follow my lead and trust that what we're about to do will shift the tides." Before she could question the plan, Matthews turned to the officers, bravely raising his hands. "If you want us, then come get us. But know this: whoever stands in our way will answer to a truth they cannot silence." The officers stiffened, a moment of hesitation hanging in the air like fog. "Jamila! Keisha! Move!" Matthews shouted, suddenly rushing forward, creating a distraction that broke the tension. In that moment, pure instinct kicked in. Jamila grabbed Keisha's wrist and pulled her toward the door just as Matthews surged ahead, challenging the officers to respond. Amid the upheaval, a cacophony of shouts rang out behind them, confusion erupting in discord. The heavy, sterile air turned electric as Jamila and Keisha scrambled past Matthews, using the momentum to propel them into the chaos outside. "Get to the rally point!" Matthews yelled back, determination etched on his face. "Let us go!" Jamila shouted, racing ahead as freedom beckoned in the form of distant voices chanting for justice. She and Keisha barreled through the hallways, the adrenaline fueling their steps. As they burst through the doors into the cool night air, the scene was alive with the colors of rebellion: painted faces, raised fists, and a chorus of united voices that echoed strength. "Out here! Over here!" A familiar face broke through the crowd. The solidarity of their neighborhood had pulled together like a tide, and with it brought reinforcements. Marissa's face lit with relief as she spotted them. "Jamila! Keisha! We've been waiting." But the chaos was far from over. Sirens blared in the distance, the night marred with urgency. They needed to harness the power of the people. "This is our moment," Marissa shouted, galvanizing the crowd around them. "Together, we rise. Together, we fight." Jamila felt a surge of hope ignite within her, a spark that began to blaze. They cast aside their fears, feeding on one another's strength. "This is more than about us," Jamila shouted above the noise, feeling the pulse of the crowd. "We stand for every voice silenced. Each life destroyed. They cannot control what we choose to uncover." The crowd erupted into unified chants, their energy surging as they recognized the truth she had unearthed. Their fight was not merely for her freedom, but for justice in a world that had neglected it. Together, they pushed forward, the momentum shifting in their favor. Jamila felt the power surrounding her, threads of her community intertwining into an unbreakable fabric of resistance. As the sirens drew closer, she turned to Keisha, both of them locked in a gaze of understanding. They had each other and the people fighting beside them. "Let us do this!" Keisha shouted, her face radiant with newfound courage. The moment had arrived. Ready to confront the truth, Jamila stepped forward, her heart pounding, not in fear, but with the fierce rhythm of empowerment. "We will not back down," she declared, her voice ringing loud and strong. Their truth, their courage, it was now in the open. Together, they would face the odds head-on. It was time to reclaim their narrative, reclaim their community, and reclaim their lives. And as the night wore on, the roar of solidarity cried out against oppression, illuminating the path ahead, a transformative journey that was already underway. Each step forward carved out a brighter tomorrow, echoing the profound strength that lies in truth and unity. Now more than ever, Jamila realized this was just the beginning. The light of dawn peeked over the horizon, ushering in a new day filled with endless possibilities. But the fight wasn't over yet. This is where you step in. If you believe in justice, truth, and the power of unity that transcends every boundary, you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and ensure more stories like Jamila's reach the world. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this powerful ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Stand with us, and let us ignite this movement together.